Hello, my advanced Excel students. I hope you're doing fine. So right now, I want us to look at the if function. Remember, we're looking at functions. So today I want us to look at the if functions and see if there is anything that we can learn under the if function. So let me just open the workbook that we're using. The workbook that we're using just minutes ago, or just the hours ago, that the workbook that we're using, and then from there we can see how best we can help each other. So let me just open it. It's under Advanced Excel, the workbook 3. Okay. So this workbook that is opening is the one that we are going to use. It's opening. Once it's open, you're gonna see it. Yeah, this is what we're going to use today when looking at advanced Excel. So let me just try and make it a little bit bigger so that everyone is able to see it very well. So if you remember, this is what we had the previous day. So I want us to use the if function. If function. How can we use the if function? So we were going to say that let's try and assume let's try and say we want to know who passed and who failed. Looking at the marks that we have, we want to know who passed and who failed, and we're going to set a certain average for pass and fail. Yeah, so we want to know who passed and who failed, but we just don't want to go by name. Mary, what? No, we want to make something. We want to use Excel to help us know who passed and who failed using the if function that we're going to say if Mary got 3, then she failed, something like that. Yeah, so I will just come here and I think the best thing that I can do is let me first look at it very well. So if who passed English, who passed maths, or who passed ICT? So under ICT, under math, so I'll have to be highlighting these things for it to give me the pass, the fail. Maybe if not a pass or a fail, let's say who got an A and who got a B. Yes, we're going to say pass, fail, A and B, something like that. We're going to know who got an A and who got a B. And maybe we can say, okay, let's start with pass and fail. Then from pass and fail, we're going to move to A and B. So let me just increase, let me just add sort of like, let me just try to add a something like a cell here. Oh my God, what have I done? Let me do that. Okay. I want to add some sort of yeah, something like that. And then I can just say pass, or I can say I can name it. I can say comment, yeah. Comment. I can say comment. Good. So we want to know under the comment who passed and who failed, and see who passed and who failed using these that we have. So we're going to say that comment, but I'm wondering how I'm going to highlight if Mary passed looking at these marks, if she passed English, maths, and ICT, the comment should be okay. So what I'm going to do is that we are going to find the average for all these people. We're going to find the average for all of them, and then we're going to use the average to find the comment. So here I'm going to say average. I'm going to say average again. I'm going to say average again. And then right now, I'm going to just do that. I'm going to come to the formulas, and then I will insert my formula. I'll come back to the average, and then I'll say okay, using the dialog box. So it's saying B5, so we have to check which one is B5. B5 is Mary and D5. So B5 to D5, that's the average that they want, which is exactly what I want, because we're here. I want B5, which is Mary, and D5, which is Mary. What is the average? So this is exactly what I want. So I'll say okay. And then I will autofill this. So you can actually autofill the formula. You can autofill the formula if that's exactly what has been done is what you want. Yeah. So I have the average for all the boxes. Apart from the average for all the boxes, for everyone, I have the average for the individual. Now I can find the comment. I can just add, let me just try and add another box for comments, like that. Let me just highlight it under the home tab. Let me just box it up by adding all borders to it, like that. And then I can just say comment to see who passed and who failed. Comments, something like that. So under the comment, I'll highlight this part because we're going to start with Mary, who has the average of 72, and see who passed and who failed. So under the comment, I will go back again to my formula tab, and I'll say insert, and this time around I'll say if, because we want to look at a condition. So since it's a condition, we want to know if you pass and if you failed. So we're going to set our average pass mark to be 60, because these pupils, if you are seeing what is here, they passed. So I'll say 60, so I'll say if, then I'll say okay. So the logical test, if you are seeing this dialog box that has come here, this is the logical test. So the logical test is telling me if, logical test now is asking me if what. So we're going to say if, that's where the answer is. So we're going to say if the average, we'll highlight this guy there. If E5, where our answer is, if E5 is greater than, if it's greater than 60. So if E5, we're going to say if E5 is greater than 60, if it's greater than 60, then we're going to say it should be a pass. Wow, the opposite is going to be true, because if it's less than, then the dialog box asks us to say if E5 is greater than, then sure, it will be a pass. Wow, if the value is false, meaning that the opposite of this is going to be less than, then we're going to say we want it to be a fail. We want it to be a fail if the opposite is what is true, right? Yeah. So automatically what will happen is that if you're seeing what is happening on my screen, automatically 72 has been given a what? A pass. So we can autofill our comment and see who passed and who failed, looking at the numbers that we have up to what? F16, something like that. So you've seen. So we have a number of students that passed. We have pass, fail, pass, fail, pass, fail. So we can look at Mary and say, on average, looking at the addition, after adding all the marks in ICT, math, and English, she had the 72 average, and that's a pass. Then we have Elisha who failed. Then we have Adam who passed. And we have these passes. And then we have Jude who failed. And we also have Anna who passed and this other. So this is how you do it when you're looking at the if function. That's how you do it. So apart from the comment, under the if function, the one that we've used is a two-sided coin, a condition that has got if you pass or if you failed. But we can also have a condition that has got multiple conditions inside the condition itself. What if we can talk about a condition that has got multiple conditions inside the condition itself? How do we do that one? So how do we do that one? We're going to say we want a comment, we want a grade. We can name it grade. We can say we want that we will know to say this one got an A, this one got a B, this one got a C, or this one got a D, something like that is gonna help. So we want a grade. So I'm going to add another row. I'm going to add another row over here for grade up to where the pass is. Let me just come to home tab. Let me just add a border to it so that it should be part of the things that we are doing, like that. And then I'll come inside and say grade, because we want something that is a grade, like that. And then we are going to use a condition that has got multiple conditions inside it, a condition that has got multiple conditions inside it. How do we do that? So you come to the formulas again. So we've highlighted already we've already highlighted this. So we're just going to look at, we have math. So we're going to still use the average type for the grade. We use the average. So since we use the average, let us just come to the formula there. Then we can say insert, and then we've seen we have the if, that's what we want. So now let's see what we can do if we are looking at the if. Where do we start from? So we're saying if we use this very one, this average, E5. So E5, if E5 is greater than, if E5 is greater than, if it's greater than 90, greater than, let's say greater than equal to, right? Greater than equal to 90, then we're saying that what we want greater than or equal to 90, then what we want here is what we want is that we want it to be an A. Greater than, if E5 is greater than or equal to 90, we want it to be an A. Then if like that, okay. So what you do now, because once you enter, the dialog box gives us automatically a condition of 2. So now as we want to have a condition of more than 2, we want to have a condition of more than 2. What do we do? So you come to the formula bar here. The formula bar, you come and what do you do to the formula bar? You just come and remove this bracket that is closing. You backspace the bracket, you add a comma to it. After adding a comma to it, and then what do you do next? After adding a comma to it, you click if, the if function again. After you click the if function again, what do you do next? You open a bracket. So you shift and open another bracket. So you see that the dialog box becomes open. It becomes open for more. So you say if, we can still use the E5 again to be our, yeah. So if E5, we can say, if E5 is greater than or equal to, so we can bring it down, greater than or equal to, we can say shift and say greater than, is greater than or equal to. So if E5 is greater than or equal to, is greater than or equal to, we can say, let me see, have I made a mistake? No, I'm doing the right thing. Okay, so shift greater than we can say or equal to 70, or equal to 70, then we're saying we want it to be, we want the answer. If you're greater, if E5 is going to be great or it's going to be equal to 70, because we know we're going to autofill the formula, we want it to be a B. Let's say a B, like that. After you write a B, so since you know that you want to still write more things because a B is like a pass, you can come there, then you do what? You rub off the bracket which is closing, then you add a comma. After adding a comma, in capital letters, you write there, you write the word if. Write the word if, then you can shift and open the bracket again. Then you see that your dialog box is going to be open again for a new condition. And then again, we can enter another one and say if we use the E5 to be our reference, because that's what we're using. E5, we're saying that if it can be greater than, we're okay. Shift greater than or equal to, we now reduce it to 50, greater than or equal to 50, then we're saying that we want our E5 to be a C. So after we write our C, we come back again to our dialog box, to our formula bar, we rub off the bracket that is closing, we add a comma, and then from there, we continue by saying another if in capital letters, and then we open the bracket like that, and then you see that the box here, the dialog box will be open for more, and then we say using our dialog box again, using E5 as our reference, and then we can say if it's greater than, you say shift great or equal to, let's reduce this word 50, so we can say 35 now, greater than, if it's greater than or equal to 35, then we want it to be what? We want it to be a D, right? We want it to be a D. So looking at what we have almost like four conditions, which is quite okay for us to use, right? So what do? You come here and close your dialog box, your formula bar by the number of, you add brackets, a number of brackets, depending on how many conditions you've given. So we have the first bracket, second, third, and fourth. So we need to have 4 brackets over here to close all the four brackets. So you do that. So we have quite a number. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4 to mean 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, so that's what we want. So we have closed our deal. So we come here and say, okay. Okay, so they're saying they found a problem with this formula. So it could be that there is an issue somewhere. So we said greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So if this, we want it to be a B. Okay, so the problem is with the commas. So we can backspace the commas. We can backspace the commas and see if we're going to have what we are looking for. Oh, I see. Oh, I see where the problem is. So this 90 comma, this is supposed to be a comma, but the B here is supposed to be in inverted commas. Okay. So when you're using, so we're going to just have to, we're just going to rub this off again and start afresh. We're going to end somewhere here, where 90 is. and start to redo it again. Or maybe just to rub everything off and see, since we've already said grade. So this one, you have to be careful with it. Just like I've made a mistake, you can also make a mistake. So we are still using the if function. You come there, you say if, so we are using this, we've highlighted it. We are saying that if it's great, or maybe you can say greater equal to 90, we're saying that it should be what? It should be an A. Like that. So you see what will happen automatically after clicking an A, it has to be put in inverted commas. The inverted commas is where the problem was. So after rubbing this off, and then you put a comma, then you say if, then you open a bracket again, like that. You come here and highlight the very same, highlight E5, which you're going to say greater or equal to, then you're going to say we had reduced it to 70. We're saying we want it to be a B. So we want it to be a B. So you come to B, you click B, and then you move on. So you open next, so that the B should always be put into inverted mistake. So everything was going on well up until the part of the inverted commas where we had a mistake. So we said we're using the verb E5. So you just keep on highlighting it. You say greater than or equal to, E5 greater than equal to, you say this is 70. You can now say 50. 50, we said 50, yeah. Then we want it to be a C. So you say C. After C, you can come there. Then you've seen it's giving us two inverted commas. So the two inverted commas are coming after you go into the third box under the dialog box and say C. Then you can rub that off. Then you add your comma. After adding your comma there, then you can say if. After the if, then you can open your bracket. After you open your bracket, then you can put the last, we can put our last word, our last condition. So we have got like 4 conditions here. We have like 4 conditions here. So again, all right. So um since we have all this, since we have our conditions ready, what do we do? Since we have our conditions ready, let me just continue sharing. I'm here. Okay. So since we have this, so this is what we are looking at. Yeah. So since our conditions are ready, we can just go and say, okay. So you've seen B has been, Mary has been given a B automatically. So let's try and autofill and see what we are going to get for the rest of our students. The rest of our students. Okay, so I can come there and just autofill up to pass. So you've seen we have Mary got a B, the other one got a C, and then C, 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 and B. So that's a condition. So there's no one that got a D. There's no one that got below 35. Everyone was above 35. So we have C's and D's. So this is how you use a conditional, a condition that has got a number of conditions in it, where you have to type it manually and you have to follow the instructions that I was given, where you play around with the if, which is supposed to be in capital letters, the commas, and also make sure that everything that you put is in two inverted commas. So you pay attention to the formula bar for you to know that what you're doing is the right thing. So we've looked at the if function, and we've also looked at how to play around with a condition that has got two and the condition that has got a number of conditions in it. Thank you. So for now, we're going to end just here, and then we're going to continue with this as time goes by. Thank you so much for attending. Make sure that you pay attention to the recording and you ask me questions where you're not clear.